Culture exists all around us. Regardless of where you travel or how far you go, every country in the world has its own culture. Mimi Lee said in a published Sage journal, the definition of culture is a set of beliefs or standards shared by a group of people. Workplaces, schools, cities, regions, countries, and more have their own cultures. Culture defines us all, how we think, behave, and interact. Travel and culture go hand in hand since culture changes with location. In examining differences between cultures, the value of travel is apparent. Let's take a look at how culture and education work together. Students prefer different methods of delivery in education. Some prefer audio and visual, and many prefer hands-on learning. Travel is a form of hands-on learning that engages the senses. There's no dispute about the importance of tactile education. These experiences help build problem-solving skills and increase curiosity and motivation, much more than an open your textbooks to page 214 and read chapter 7 type of experience. Culture and education often work together due to the way a society works. It is important to bring up how travel can break stereotypes and false perception. Katie Ford says, when we experience another culture, country, or group of people through the attitude of a stereotype, we're not really doing justice to the experience that's before us. Often we're left with an empty feeling about the thing we've experienced, and we leave a bad taste in the mouths of those we've interacted with. False perceptions and stereotypes are a bad societal habit. When you look at two societies side by side, differences are easily isolated and recognized. Some societies, namely in Asia, have traditions that can confuse or bewilder Western onlookers. Some of the value of travel is rooted in experiencing these traditions. This chart highlights the contrast between American and Japanese society. Every item depicted in almost every major social area is opposite. Dignity of individuals prioritized in America versus human relations oriented in Japan. Individual freedom and not. Transparency and not. Multicultural, monocultural. The list goes on, but travel is the only way to truly experience foreign cultures. Perception is a funny thing. When an individual grows up, let's say, in Ormond Beach, Florida, and doesn't leave Florida until they're 18, their perspective on world issues will be very limited. But, even through travel, sometimes perception and reality can be confused. History and governments have a say in the direction a culture takes, since people enter into a social contract as citizens, by Locke's proposal. They exchange some liberties for protection of their natural rights by the government. It keeps daily life from being an anarchy. Since government can influence how a country operates or people think, government and culture are interdependent. It is easy to compare our society, with our many relative freedoms, to other more traditional societies around the world. Expectation and stereotype are similar at the root. Viewpoint and worldview are also similar. Generally, leaving the status quo is a new and often uncomfortable experience for many, but it has immeasurable educational value. Customs are small quirks that could seem bizarre to foreigners, like how you ask for food or thank someone. Again, I have to draw this contrast with Asia, but customs and courtesies are different all around the world. Being exposed to an environment with poor living conditions or conditions very different from one's own leads to self-reflection and actualization. Not many students have the chance to experience this realization, and it is often life-changing to see how a foreign culture prospers in conditions we might abhor. Traveling internationally early in life can change a student's perspective and worldview. Back to worldview. What is worldview? Worldview is defined by Merriam-Webster Dictionary as a comprehensive conception or apprehension of the world, especially from a specific standpoint. Worldview affects students because at younger ages, students have less experiences to shape worldview. If students don't experience other cultures, they have a much narrower perspective on the world. Another vocab word, camaraderie. Camaraderie is defined as mutual trust and friendship among people who spend a lot of time together. Even a 2-week trip would have to, by definition, bring the endeavoring travelers together. Given all of this put together, travel and cultural experiences can change students' worldviews and even their lives. Speaking of students, let's look at a survey of some AICE students in our own AICE program. 88.2% of the 34 responses were in favor when asked, would you be interested in experiencing different cultures? When the same group was asked, what is most important to you, and could choose A, culture, B, distance from home, C, time away, and D, language, 55.9% said culture. Some of these choices were other perspectives and consideration for the purpose of this investigation. Distance away from home, time away, and cost are not as important to consider than cultural experience. As explored in this investigation, culture and education are critical together and work to benefit students with hands-on activities. Embracing and experiencing other cultures is only proven to be advantageous for students, young adults, and all people. No other perspective takes into account the knowledge to be gained, student interest, educational value, and really nothing but numbers. If cost is a factor, fundraising is a solution. Is experiencing other cultures and growing as an individual more important than a few $100 when talking about the cost of a trip? I firmly believe the answer is yes. If there's a will, there's a way. So, where should AICE travel in 2020? The EF Tours European Showcase is the trip for our program. Take a look at the map. It covers 5 countries and crosses the whole continent of Europe. With 135 reviews as an educational group tour, it has an average 4.5-star rating. It starts in London, where students see famous places such as Big Ben and Parliament, Piccadilly Circus, St. Paul's Cathedral, Westminster Abbey, the Changing of the Guard, and explore the city on foot. Then, students board the Eurostar to Paris. In Paris, students go to the Champs-Élysées, the street the Nazi army marched down in June of 1940, then the Allies in August of 1944. They also see the Arc de Triomphe and the Eiffel Tower. The history and connection to one of the world's most historically active and important countries is showcased with this itinerary. In Switzerland, the group will travel to Lake Lucerne and see the natural beauty of the stunning country. Of course, we had to stop for the olives and wine. I mean food. But regardless, Italy is full of history. Florence, Assisi, Pompeii, and the Sorrento region all lead to Rome. In Rome, the bad driving is a stereotype in itself. I can personally attest, though. Rome is an amazing city with as much history as any other European capital. The Trevi Fountain, the ancient Roman ruins, and especially the Vatican. Greece is the definition of civilization's development. In Athens, with the Acropolis and many other ancient ruins, students experience the ancient Greek and current Greek culture simultaneously. The trip is 17 to 20 days depending on options chosen. The cost of this trip is between $3,700 and $4,400 depending on time of year, number of students, and package options. There are other trips even less than 10 days that have similar price ranges. Thank you for listening to my presentation.